जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी जय यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन जमुना तीरा बनचारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन यमुना तीरा बनचारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्रजकाचार्य स्तोत्र शतश्री श्रीमद् हिज डिवाइन ग्रेस शिला भय चरणार वृंद भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी शिला प्रभुपाद की ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की निताई गौर प्रेमानंदे all glories to the assembled devotees all glories to the assembled devotees all glories to the assembled devotees all glories all glories to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga all glories to Srila Prabhupada Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya सब मिलकर बोलेंगे नारायणं नमस्कृत्यं नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत् नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तम श्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टुकी कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय Devaki Nandanaya cha Nanda Gopakumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha. So we are reading from Canto 7, Chapter 4, verse number 15. We will be covering 3 verses today, 15, 16 and 17. So the 15 and 16 I'll just read through it, and then the 17th we'll do a repetition. Saeva varnashrami kratubhir bhuri dakshina yamano havir bhagan agrahit svena tejasa. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Being worshipped by sacrifices offered with great gifts by those who strictly followed the principles of Varna and Ashram, Hiranyakashipu, instead of offering shares of the oblations to the demigods, accepted them himself. Text 16. Akrishta tasyasit saptadvipavati mahi tatha kama dugha gavo nana ascharya padam nabha. As if in fear of Hiranyakashipu, the planet Earth, which consists of 7 islands, delivered food grains without being plowed. Thus it resembled cows like the surabhi of the spiritual world or the Kam Dugha of heaven. The earth yielded sufficient food grains, the cows supplied abundant milk, and outer space was beautifully decorated with wonderful phenomena. Now this verse we will repeat. Ratnakarascha ratnaghams tatpatnyaschohururmibhi shara siddhu ghrita shaudra dadi shiramritodaka. Ratnakarascha ratnaghams tatpatnyaschohururmibhi shara siddhu ghrita shaudra dadi shiramritodaka. Ratnakarascha ratnagham tatpatnyaschohururmibhi shara siddhu grita shaudra dadi shiramritodaka. One Prabhu and one Mataji can please. Ratnakarascha ratnaghams Matajis. Anyone Mataji please. Translation. By the flowing of their waves, the various oceans of the universe, along with their tributaries, the rivers, which are compared to their wives, supplied various kinds of gems and jewels for Hiranyakashipu's use. These oceans were the oceans of salt water, sugarcane juice, wine, clarified butter, milk, yogurt, and sweet water. Purport. The water of the seas and oceans of this planet, of which we have experience, are salty. But other planets within the universe contain oceans of sugarcane juice, liquor, ghee, milk, and sweet water. The rivers are figuratively described as wives of the oceans and seas because they glide down to the oceans and seas as tributaries, like the wives attached to their husbands. Modern scientists attempt excursions to other planets, but they have no information of how many different types of oceans and seas there are within the universe. According to their experience, the moon is full of dust, but this does not explain how it gives us some soothing rays from a distance of millions of miles. As far as we are concerned, we follow the authority of Vyasadeva and Sukadeva Goswami, who have described the universal situation according to the Vedic literature. These authorities differ from modern scientists who conclude from their imperfect sensual experience that only this planet is inhabited by living beings, whereas the other planets are all vacant or full of dust. Om Jnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirbishesha Shunyavadi Paschata Deshatarine Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Brinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So this section of Bhagavatam that we are in right now, Canto 7, if we analyze in this section, what are we discussing, what are we getting to hear? Nourishing Leela, hai ki nahi? So if you see in the whole Bhagavatam, the first biggest section you can say, the most time that Sukadeva Goswami invested to Parikshit Maharaj was what? The 10th canto, right or wrong? Krishna Leela. Most time he gave for that, Krishna Leela. And do you know what is the second longest section of Bhagavatam? Nourishing Leela. 10 chapters. Why? And I was thinking, see, it has to be important, right? Otherwise, why would he dedicate such a long section of the whole Bhagavatam? And then I was thinking, it has to be important. Why? Because you see, Srila Prabhupada is Parshad, no? Of Krishna, he came. Prabhupada, of all the prayers, nourishing prayers, he's made us chant 3 times in a day. कभी सोचा है? Morning में हम लोग गाते हैं ना, after Mangla Aarti, we sing nourishing prayers, right? Afternoon, after Rajbhog Aarti, we sing nourishing prayers. Evening, after Gaura Aarti, again we sing nourishing prayers. कभी सोचा है क्यों? It could have been any other prayers, no? glorification of Guru and so many other prayers we sing. Why Narsingh Leela? That means it's got to be important, right? Emphasis किसके ऊपर डालते हैं? What is important, what is essential, so that when you keep hearing, singing, then it will become natural for you. So today we'll try to understand from this, from purport we'll pick up one line of Srila Prabhupada and we'll try to understand the relevance of this whole section of this Narsingh Leela in our lives, not even our life, in my life. Because this personality Hiranyakashipu, which we are reading in this chapter and in this verse and in this whole section, Hiranyakashipu was killed one yuga back, not in like in Satyuga, right? वो personality जो Hiranyakashipu demonic, he was killed. But that Hiranyakashipu buddhi जिसको बोलते हैं ना, that mentality, Hiranyakashipu is still, as maybe I can say, more present today than that one Hiranyakashipu who was present in that yuga. Because we need to understand ये Hiranyakashipu है क्या. Through this Leela of Hiranyakashipu, of course we know in his original form he is Jai Vijay. Why did the Lord make this Jai Vijay appear as Hiranyaksh, Hiranyakashipu and Ravan and Kumbhakarna? For me. Because this Hiranyakashipu is so, right now we'll talk about Hiranyakashipu, Ravana we can talk at some other time. Because this Hiranyakashipu is so deep rooted in my life. वो तो एक personality, he was one person killed, gone. But this Hiranyakashipu, what does Hiranyakashipu represent? Everybody knows, right? Of the 6 anarthas, Hiranyakashipu represents pride. He was so proud. And to whatever degree, if we analyze for ourselves, right? Pride का मतलब क्या? I, right? Me. I achieved this. I did this. I. So till this I is in the center, you are in this material world. Material world is all about that, na? I am in the center. And spiritual realm क्या है? जय श्री श्री राधा वृंदावन चंद्र जगन्नाथ बलदेव सुभद्रा महारानी श्री श्री गौर निताई की जय श्रील प्रभुपाद की. Spiritual realm is what? I is out of the center and Krishna is in the center. So important to understand how this Hiranyakashipu mentality is still there embedded within my life. That is why it's so important. And that is why Prabhupada addressed Hiranyakashipu as whom? As how? Shriman Hiranyakashipu. Socho. Because he understood that Hiranyakashipu through what Krishna is giving us, awakening us to. I was just thinking, just like we sing na Jodi Gaur na hoito. So Hiranyakashipu, Jodi Hiranyakashipu na hoito to ki hoito? प्रहलाद महाराज नहीं होतो ना, प्रहलाद महाराज नहीं होतो. और यदि प्रहलाद महाराज ना होइतो तबे की होइतो? The 3 prayers that we sing every day ना होइतो. कौन? नरसिंह देव भगवान ना होइतो. देखो, I take this as meditation. Meditation ऐसा आंख बंद करके, that is not meditation. When we hear something, we absorb and we meditate on that. बोलना बहुत easy है, बैठ के better speaker than me, everybody, you know, sitting and speaking is good and that's fine. But to absorb, to meditate on that, and most important, what we'll be discussing today is to put it into practice in our lives. That is so important. So Hiranyakashipu, as we are seeing in this section, what has he achieved? Where is Hiranyakashipu right now sitting today? I mean, today means in this section. He is sitting on Indrasan, Indra के आसन पर. जैसे ये व्यासासन होता है ना, इंद्रा के आसन पे बैठे हुए. Imagine what he's achieved, right? Ishwara aham, aham bhogi. You read in Bhagavad Gita. He's achieved that. I am the supreme. Rather than said in his times, everybody had to approach him, Bhagwan Hiranyakashipu. Bhagwan नहीं बोलेगा तो you know the consequences. So what has he achieved? I am, Krishna is saying, Bhoktaram Yagya Tapasam, Sarvalok Maheshwaram, मैं सर्वलोक महेश्वरम है. यहाँ पर हिरण्यकशिपु is saying, Ishwaraham, Aham Bhogi. In this section where we are, he is at that position, right? So let us try to understand on what basis has Hiranyakashipu achieved what he has achieved. Because see, even in material world now, whatever we achieve, whatever we want to be, it's always on some basis. एक foundation होता है कि नहीं? First you start thinking and then you acquire some knowledge and then you go ahead, act on it and then you achieve, right? So very briefly, today we'll try to understand on what basis Hiranyakashipu has achieved what he has achieved, on what platform he is. Because if that understanding is not there, that is what is going to be our discussion. If you don't have the right understanding, you can have the right tool, but you may not get the right result. So very briefly, we'll try to understand this principle. So when we talk of basis, on what basis did Hiranyakashipu achieve this? What came to me in my head, what I can talk on? See, I usually like to base my talks on what we have got from Prabhupada. I feel very safe. Prabhupada se jo mila, if you repeat that, for me it's still Prabhupada and of course different acharyas there. So when we talk of, we use the word basis, what comes to our mind? Books are the basis. And there are 4 sutras, everybody knows, right? After books are the basis, what is next? Utility is the principle. What is third? Purity is the force. And fourth is? Preaching is the... So very briefly, we'll try to get some understanding. And why we'll do it? Because there is one line in the purport, which I'll come to when we talk about it. Or rather, I can read it now only. See, Prabhupada says, as far as we are concerned, we means devotees, followers of Srila Prabhupada, we follow the authority of Vyasadev and Sukdev Goswami. How do we follow the principles of Sukdev Goswami and Vyasadev? Books, right? All Prabhupada's books are based on what? On the books of our acharyas, on the books of Vyasadev and Sukdev, who have described the universal situation according to Vedic literature. Vedic literature kya hai? Books hai, no? These authorities differ from the modern scientists who conclude from their imperfect sensual experience. So, Prabhupada used to say, you know, I was going to mention it. Read my books. How to read Prabhupada's books? Who knows what word Prabhupada used? Scrutinizingly. Because every line, every word, there is a message for me. Prabhupada ऐसे ही नहीं लिखते थे. Every line, every word, there is a message. So he's saying that we accept on basis of books by Sukdev Goswami, by for us Prabhupada. But he's saying these authorities, which authorities? The materialistic authorities, differ. These authorities differ from modern scientists, means the modern day scientists, who conclude, they come to conclusion on what basis? From their imperfect sensual experience that only this planet is inhabited by living beings, whereas the other planets are all vacant or full of dust. What is Prabhupada establishing? A difference in the two. What is our basis? Our basis is books. Their basis is also books, but our basis, that is what we'll talk about. Their basis is more on their understanding, their intelligence, their research, whatever they do, they come to conclusions. Earth is flat. आप लोग सबने सुना है ना? Science established Earth is flat. And Prabhupada would say, millions of years back, वो लोग ने लिख दिया Bhagavatam में 5,000 years back, Earth is bhugol. And these people are spending millions of dollars and all to establish that the Earth is round. Why? They are not accepting authority. Books. So very quickly, we will go through this 4, you can say, sutras that Prabhupada has given us. And if we understand this, you know, we can just base our whole devotional life on these 4 sutras that Prabhupada gave us, instructions. And of course, they are very long. I usually give 3 classes on these 4. So I have to wrap it up in 25 minutes. But we'll get a high-level understanding of these 4 sutras. First is what? Books are the basis. So what does this mean? And actually I'm basing it on one, everybody knows of Bhakti Vikas Swami Maharaj. I heard from him and I accept him as my Shiksha Guru. You know, whenever you hear from someone, if you don't accept that person as an authority from whom you are hearing now, then what he will give you, you will not accept. Very important. That is why whenever I hear from Prabhupada disciples and all, my mood or understanding is, Shiksha Guru ki tarah isko, what he is giving you accept. So it's based on what I heard from him, I'm just going to repeat. So acceptance, when you accept something, it's always based on some authority, right? Even in material world. Like Prabhupada used to give a very nice example. If there's a child, and this child knows who his mother is, but doesn't know who his father is. So the child has two options. Okay, what are the two options? One is, you go to all the men in planet Earth. You are my father. आप मेरे पापा हैं. आप मेरे पिताजी हैं. आप मेरे पिताजी हैं. And when all 99.99 सब लोग ना बोल देगा, जो एक बचेगा वो मेरा फादर है. या जो एक बोल देगा मेरा फादर है वो मेरा फादर है. That is one option, right? What is the other option? Go to the mother, right? Who knows best? The mother, right? She's given birth, she knows who's the father. Unfortunately, in material world, it's just the other way around. We are using our intelligence to find out, to establish. That is what Prabhupada is saying. But intelligence is go to the mother. And in Prabhupada's purport, you will read Shastra. Shastra is the mother. Father kaun hai? Supreme Lord, Krishna, everybody knows, right? Books. That is why Prabhupada said, books are the bases. Basis का मतलब क्या? Foundation, right? Anything, you build a building, you need a base, you need a foundation. And if that foundation is not strong, ek hawa, chuk. Same thing in our devotional life, be it or even in material life also. The base, the foundation has to be strong. You have to have a right understanding of this basis. Jai Shri Jagannath Baldev Subhadramani Radha Ramchandra Gaun Nitai ki. So basis has to be very strong. We have to have a right understanding of when Prabhupada is saying books are the basis, what he's saying. And that is what when I was hearing from Bhakti Vikas Maharaj, he explained it very nicely. He said when Prabhupada is saying books, what is Prabhupada meaning? Is he meaning this physical books? Because if we analyze, if you just go back 100 years back, one generation, 200, books to tha hi nahi. Right or wrong? There were no books. Even while Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, there were no books. They would just write on leaves and all. So then when he's saying books are the basis, means what? We have to get deeper understanding. That's very important. We can get a shallow understanding. Okay, books we have to read. That's good. What is the real message behind books are the basis? Knowledge. He explained it very nicely. How, when Prabhupada is saying books are the basis, he means to say knowledge. What is this book giving us? You see, because if you go back, all examples, Prahlad Maharaj, right? What did Prahlad Maharaj get from his guru, Narad Muni? Did he get books? When I mean to say physical books, it's not that Narad Muni gave him some books and he sat at home and read. All examples. It's the knowledge. Right? Divya Gyan Hriday Prakashito. When the Guru gives it from within, you understand. Isiliye, books is an English word, but what is the real word for books? Shastra. What is the meaning of the word Shastra? Shastra is made up of two words. Shastra and Shasan. So it is explained that to Shasan, to live we are talking of human beings. For a human being to govern, to live his life, what is the weapon he needs? Shastra. Shastra kya hai? Shastra. To shasan, to govern, to lead our lives. Usko kehte hain Shastra. Shastra is a GPS. Through Shastras, we come to know what to do, what not to do, take a right, take a left. Because if you, in today's world at least, if you don't have a GPS, jahan right lena aap left le lenge. Will you reach your destination? So, Shastra is that Shastra. It's that weapon by which a human being should govern or lead his life. That should be the base. On that basis, a human being should live his life. When life is based on that, then you come to human platform. You see, that is why today I don't like saying it. Our bigger challenge in preaching and to reaching out to people is dharma and all comes afterward. First, we have to bring people to human platform. They don't even know what it means to be human. And why they don't know? Because Shastra nahi hai. They have material knowledge, they have books, they have material knowledge, but spiritual knowledge, not there. So first thing is to bring them on human platform, to make them understand what it means to be human. Then will come dharma and bhakti and all that is very far off. So can we understand when Prabhupada is saying books are the basis, foundation, what he means? Knowledge, transcendental knowledge. And see, the same thing Krishna talks about it in Bhagavad Gita chapter 4. He ends where he compares transcendental, he gives 3 comparisons to transcendental knowledge. What is the first example he gives? Transcendental knowledge, he compares it to a boat. We won't get into details of that. First he compares it to a boat, then he compares it to fire. And what is the third explanation he gave? What is the third comparison? He says it's a weapon. That's why he tells Arjuna, get up and fight. So important. So, I'm not getting into detail, I'm just going to. So, books, when Prabhupada says books are the basis, means what? Getting a correct understanding of this knowledge that the books are providing us. Because the second principle that we'll talk about, which Prabhupada explains, is utility. You can have the knowledge. How to utilize it? See, worth thinking. Right now we are talking about Hiranyakashipu, right? Did Hiranyakashipu read the scriptures and books? Was he read in scriptures and books? Yes or no? Yes. Just little time back when his brother passed away, Hiranyaksha was killed. Do you know Hiranyakashipu gave a Bhagavad Gita class? Because his family was all so disturbed, they were crying, and if you all just minus the first word, Hiranyakashipu Vacha, and you all read those verses, aap log ko lagega, wow, what a class, right? So what it means? He had read the books. Another point to ponder. All the meditation that he did, right? Imagine, you can't imagine actually. How far is it possible to achieve what Hiranyakashipu achieved? You know, he did millions of years of, thousands of years of tapasya, surpassing all. Today he is sitting in Indralok. How many of us think that without reading the books, how could he have done that tapasya? To please Brahmaji. Is it easy? Is it easy to please Brahmaji without having read the books? He had read. Ravana had read the books or not? Ravana was Trivedi or Chaturvedi, I don't know. He had read the Vedas. Books padha tha. But uska utility kya hai? When we'll talk about utility, we'll come to it. So books, reading. Prabhupada himself used to read his own books. Can you all imagine? Of course, he said scrutinizing, but Prabhupada himself used to read his books. And when he was asked, he would say, I have not written these books. Krishna spoke, I was just the pen. Imagine. It should make it so much more important for us to read Prabhupada's books. Imagine. And Prabhupada used to say, read, understand, and then what is the third thing? Apply them in your lives. Lead your lives by that. That is what we saw now. Hiranyakashipu, when we'll come to utility. He read, he may have understood, he didn't understand, he misunderstood. So, books, knowledge, 3 principles are very important. Reading is important, but more important is understanding. Because if you don't understand, then you may utilize it, you may misutilize it instead of utilizing it in the way it should be utilized. I'll give you all an example. Bhagwan Swayam, imagine how he established these principles. Lord Ramchandra, right? Since we celebrated Dashera, again Deepavali is coming, I thought of some Lord Ramchandra's example. Long story short, Lord Ramchandra is here in Mithila, right? And that bow is there. He's Bhagwan, na? Right? Whoever will break the bow, he will get Sita Devi. So what does Bhagwan have to do? Just walk in, I'll break the bow. He could have broken the bow. Sita Devi, chalo, gone, right? Do you know what Lord Ramchandra? That is why he is called Maryada Purushottam. In this role as Lord Ramchandra, Lord has taught us all the Maryada. Maryada ke Purushottam hai wo. What did Lord Ramchandra do? See, that is why when we read Ramayana also, we have to read it scrutinizingly. When it was his turn, he was called to break the bow. What did Lord Ramchandra do? Did he just walk away? Chalo, arey, ye kya? This is a toy for me. Did he do that? What did Lord Ramchandra do? He went and paid obeisances to his guru, Vashishta Muni, right? Please. Aapki kripa se. Vishwamitra Muni, sorry. He paid obeisances. Please, only by your kripa I can do. He went, he broke the bow. Again, now he has, Sita Devi is mine. He could have just accepted Sita Devi is mine. He told, I took your blessings to break the bow. Now to accept Sita Devi, I need your blessings. And he did not accept Sita Devi even without the blessing of his parents. Long story, I don't want to get into detail. Only when he got the blessing of his parents did he accept Sita Devi. Can you imagine? So, he not, through his example, he is teaching us. We have to read, we have to understand and then apply it in our lives. We have to live by it. That is why Prabhupada is Acharya. Acharya ka matlab kya? Achar. One who practices what he preaches. When we'll come to preaching, then we'll talk about it all. So we can talk so much about this, but books are the basis. When Prabhupada is saying means what? Knowledge, Gyan. That's foundational. And when you have the knowledge, then as I said, what is the next principle Prabhupada establishes? What is its utility? Utility is the principle. When you get something, how to utilize it? What to do of it? Simple example. See, there is a knife, right? Knife is good or bad? Both. Knife in the hand of a surgeon is good, right or wrong? He'll save a life. Operation karega aapka life. He'll save your life. And the same knife in the hand of a dacoit. Same knife in the hand of a thief. He'll take a life, right? So knife is good or bad? What does it depend on? It's use. How you use it, right? Uska utility. And the same thing comes for knowledge. How do we get an understanding of the utility? How to utilize this knowledge? Because see, same in case of Hiranyakashipu, he didn't have the right understanding of how to utilize the knowledge. What was the end result? Hiranyakashipu. And the same knowledge who had Prahlad Maharaj, right? He had the right understanding of how to utilize. He becomes Prahlad Maharaj. Imagine. How to get an understanding of utility? Long topic, I'm going to just explain in one line. Guru, Sadhu, then Shastra. Shastra is like that knife. You can become a Jnani. There are a lot of people, I know all 700 verses of Bhagavad Gita. Wonderful, Dandavat. Bhagavatam, they'll sit and chant and verses and Bhagavad Sapta. Good. See, I'm not being critical of anyone, please. We are trying to learn lessons from them. Application. How do we get the application of the Shastras of knowledge? Sadhu. And of those sadhus whom we meet, one sadhu gets the role of Guru. And it's through their guidance that we understand the right understanding of the utility of Shastra. That is what Prabhupada used to say. why you are doing what you are doing is very important. If you don't have an understanding of why you are doing what you are doing, problem. Prabhupada used to say. Prabhupada used to say, that is why if you have the right understanding, then you will do the needful. These are all Prabhupada's words. I'm just skipping. Now, we are coming to something very important. So, if you have knowledge, if you have the right understanding of the utility, Prabhupada is saying is the principle, how you get the understanding of utility through Guru and through Sadhu, what will be the result? What should be the result? What is the third sutra? Purity is the force. Purification. So important. And when purification we are talking about, it's more internal than external. External, you can start wearing dhoti kurta, wearing tilak. I'm not discouraging anybody from doing that, right? That's external. That's why we see so many sadhus, again, not being critical of anyone. They may be wearing sadhu dress, long beard, but pavitram, how much purity is there? Purity, Prabhupada said, is the force. And what is this purity in Prabhupada's word? Pure desire to serve Krishna. This is real purity. And of course, purity, there are different levels even in our devotional life, because that is the highest level of purity. To get there, there are different levels of purity. It starts from Cheto Darpana Marjanam, right? First internal cleansing will happen. Whatever little anarthas we have, attraction we have, they'll start going. Then it will come to, what is the highest peak? Nitya, what is that? Nitya Krishna, Nitya Siddha Krishna Prem Sadhya Kabunai. Shravanadi Shuddha Chitte Kareuda. Krishna Prem Uday Hoga. That will happen later on. But it will start from where? From Cheto Darpana Marjanam. And it comes to where? Nitya Siddha Krishna Prem Sadhya Kabunai. Shravanadi Shuddha Chitte. When you acquire this knowledge, Shravan Karte Karte, Shuddha Chitte Kare Uday. That is why, see, Bhagavatam, every day, see, Prabhupada, we need to understand how Prabhupada has framed everything so perfectly. All our Bhagavatam classes, what do they start with? Which prayer, with which verse? Nashta prayeshu abhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavati uttam shloke bhaktir bhavati neshtuki. Every day we chant this. Ki nityam bhagavata sevaya, if you acquire this knowledge nityam every day, two things will happen. What are the two things? Nashta prayeshu abhadreshu. जो अभद्र है ना, all the impurities, they will start getting cleansed. Nashta prayeshu abhadreshu. Then nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavati uttam shloke. What is the fourth line? Bhaktir bhavati neshtuki bhakti. Again, it's a journey. That's the journey I said. Journey starts with what? Nashta prayeshu abhadreshu. The abhadras will start getting destroyed. And where it brings you to? Neshtuki bhakti. That is Bhagavatam. The knowledge that Bhagavatam is giving us. It's purity. And as I said, it's internal purity. Sara gai makhile tilak gaur mile na. I'm not saying don't put tilaks. What is the next line? Bahir, bhitar, bahir, theek na hoile. That is why bhitar, bahir. Bahar theek ho jata hai. We can shave our hair, have long hair, long beard, and bahar ka ho jata hai. He's saying, भीतर बाहर ठीक ना होले गौर प्रेम की कोथाएं मिले. Because as I said, perfection of this purity is what? Gaur Prem, right? Krishna Prem. He's saying you won't get that unless the purification is both internal and external. And purity to what degree? What is the perfection of purity? This is really worth understanding. The apex, you can say, or the crescendo of purity is what? When one, even, see, when as you keep getting pure, you are so blissful. But the peak, the apex is what? When more than yourself, you start feeling the pain of others. You will cry. Why you will cry? When you see somebody else deprived of what you are getting. See, right now, I'm talking for myself. Why I don't cry? Because I am not that pure. But to the degree you keep getting purified and you get that experiences, and when you see that person deprived, you feel pained. Arey, kya, how unfortunate is he? Right? Example comes to my mind, Vasudev Dutt, right? Long story. Vasudev Dutt could have asked anything. What did Vasudev Dutt ask the Lord? He wants to be in the material world. Do you know how long? As good as eternity. As good as eternity, right? As long as all these jivas are not delivered. Now, वो तो कभी नहीं होगा ना. Because the material world has been made only that all who are suffering, who have broken the rule, they'll be. So that means he is asking the Lord, I want to be here for eternity. This is purity. Can you imagine what level? He's not thinking of himself, I'm getting bliss, and he's beyond that also now. He's thinking of others. How I can, when he's seeing somebody deprived, he's broken-hearted. Now he's broken-hearted because of that, seeing others deprived, seeing others painful. And this leads to the fourth principle. I'm just rushing through. What is the fourth principle? Preaching is the essence. What does preaching actually mean? Very important one, because see, a lot of times, I'm not talking for anybody, I'm talking more for myself. Our understanding of preaching is what, acha baith ke class dena, you go to some corporate and you give a good class, I'm doing such nice corporate preaching, or you go to some college and you do college preaching. All these terms are there, na? Corporate preaching, college preaching, grasta preaching. It's good, please continue. But what is the real essence? When Prabhupada is saying preaching is the essence, means what? What are we trying to achieve out of preaching? Just what we now heard of Vasudev Dutt. Not only sitting and giving good classes. That Gyanis are better than us. They can sit and give good classes. Preaching means how much are we actually concerned for, be it a group of devotees people whom you are giving class. It could be an individual also. If some individual comes to your house with some problem, that is also preaching, right? Concern. And what concern? Genuine, heartfelt concern for that person. That is really preaching. When Prabhupada is saying preaching is the essence, means to the degree we are pained seeing others suffering, then we will extend ourselves. Because if I'm not pained, right, then my preaching is what? In my comfort zone. Prabhuji, kal class, no, I'm sorry, I have to go with my wife somewhere. Day after tomorrow, I have a meeting. But to the degree we are pained, you see, Prabhupada in Vrindavan, na? He could have just sat in Vrindavan doing his Harinam, doing, imagine what Prabhupada sacrificed. What is our goal, right? A common bhakta's devotee's goal is, finally I should get to Vrindavan, retire there and, live happily ever after. That's the story. And Prabhupada is sacrificing that. What made him sacrifice that? Of course, one is he got an instruction from his guru. But more than that, this is what? The pain of what he's seeing around. When he's seeing the jiva suffering, what all he went through, right? Jaladuta, New York. For some of you all who have been to New York. Now, 50 years later also, New York is so difficult to stay. What to talk of 1965-66, right? Staying in, when he went, he stayed in that Agarwal's house, Sally Agarwal's house. Imagine having to share your refrigerator with somebody. Can we think? Why was he doing that? Genuine pain within his heart, seeing others suffering. That is the, you can say, perfection of preaching. When you see somebody, see over here now in this example, right? Hiranyakashipu has been, now it will come in the future, right? Hiranyakashipu has been killed by whom? By Narsimha Bhagwan, right? And here's the Lord asking Prahlad Maharaj, kya chahiye bolo? Prahlad Maharaj could have asked anything, right or wrong? What did Prahlad Maharaj ask for? What did he ask for? For that person, of course it's his father, who tormented him, tortured him all these years. right? He's praying for that person, my Lord, my father, more than my father, this person, he was so, deliver him. It will come, we'll talk more in detail, right? Prahlad Maharaj, what an example. I'll give you all a flip side also, that if we don't have an right understanding, of course, these are all I'm just mentioning. See, we see again in Gaur Leela, Devanand Pandit, right? These are all long pastime. We are just taking the examples. Everybody knows the pastime, right? Srivas Thakur came there, right? But Devanand Pandit was not sensitive enough. It's a long story, right? Imagine in front of his eyes, his disciples are tormenting, they're making fun of Srivas Thakur. They kicked him out. What was Devanand Pandit's response? What he should have done and what he did? That is why till that point, only when he later came in contact with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that he became purified to its crest. Complete purification. I'll end with one personal, you can say, instruction I got and which I'm trying to follow from one of my another Siksha Gurus. And why I'm giving a reference? Because he was here 2 days back. Who was here 2 days back? His Grace Radha Gopinath Prabhu. His role in my life, he is one of my Shiksha Gurus. So, long story short, 2000, I had gone to US in 2000 and in 2001, when I went to US, I was so scared what I saw. Imagine going from NVCC and from Radha Gopinath, you go to US, Atlanta, on a Sunday feast, there are 20, 25 people sitting. So I was totally, how do I survive? You must be knowing, right, Prabhu? Sanatan Govind Prabhu is also from the same background. So when I first came back, I met him in Radha Gopinath temple and he gave me 1 hour time, imagine. Sadhu, na? And a lot of things he discussed, I'll just share 2 things very important, which will be helpful, I hope, for all. So I asked him, Prabhu, how do I survive over there? No people, no one, no devotees, koi aate hi nahi hai, kya kare? Do you know what he told me? He said, do one thing. Just one word he said. Preaching. He said, preaching karoge na, तो और किसी का भला हो ना हो, आपका भला हो जाएगा. क्यों हो जाएगा? बोला देखो आपको एक क्लास देना है ना, तो आपको 2 लेक्चर सुनना पड़ेगा, 3 बुक रिफर करना पड़ेगा. एंड इवन इफ यू आर वेरी वेल रेड, इफ यू डोंट रीड एनी, he said that whole what you are going to talk na, that will be like your meditation of those 4, 5, 6 days, right or wrong? You'll keep thinking, acha, I should include this also, they include this also. बोला और किसी का भला हो ना हो, आपका भला हो जाएगा. Trust me. He spoke a lot in that 1 hour. I caught that one thing of his, and that kept me alive in the United States of America for 18 years. और कुछ आप लोग मेरा क्लास में एक्सेप्ट करो ना करो, this एक्सेप्ट करो. 18 years. Not only I survived, I was very happy. ये preaching है, because you are giving, na. And a second part of an instruction, of this instruction that he gave me, very important, which is the perfection of preaching. He told me, Prabhu, whenever you preach, means preaching again we said as sharing, right? Sharing knowledge, whatever you have. He said, whenever you share, be it in a class of 100 devotees, be it in a house, whatever, wherever, it could be an individual also. As I said, anybody has a challenge, they'll come to your house. He said, after you have shared what you have to share, knowledge-wise, right? There is a second part to preaching. How many of you all would want to know that? As per Radha Gopinath Prabhu, I am just repeating what he said. He said, Prabhu, once that person is gone, the class is over. What is your next role as a preacher? Go and pray to Krishna for that person, for that group of devotees, or whomever you have shared what you have shared. He said, very important, more than, आपका word से क्या होने वाला है? He said, you must go and pray to Krishna. Krishna, I did my bit. This person had this challenge. To my understanding, मैंने इसको दे दिया. Now, Krishna Kripa. He said, that is the more important part of preaching than, of course, it's good to give good classes. I'm not saying no for that. And see, I'll end with, Damodar Leela is all about that, na? What are the 2 fingers? First finger is you giving the class, right? You sitting and giving good class and quoting and everything. What is the second finger? Krishna Kripa. All your efforts should be to attract the Kripa of Krishna. Only when the Kripa of Krishna comes, that what you have given will fructify, my dear friends. Otherwise, it's good. I'm not telling. But the second part is more important. Praying for that person, for that group of persons, for that devotee or wherever. Abhi jaise ye class de rahe hain. After the class, the second part of your seva is pray to Krishna for whoever. So that whatever I have given, I have shared to them, they can assimilate and they can get. Rather, he told me, he said, you should pray that Krishna, what I am deprived of, let him get. Because see, everything that I am speaking right now in the class, I can speak, but am I practicing that? He said, pray to Krishna, कि मैंने दे दिया. I may not be assimilated, I may not. Let him get everything of it. He said, that is devotee, that is Vaishnava, that is Vasudev Datta. So I'll end here. It's already 9:08. Thank you all for your patience. I don't know whether we have time for one or two questions. One question only. One question, and I hope I can answer the question. So we can take one question. Yes, Prabhuji, anybody? I don't know who. No, you all decide who will take the question. No, this is the hot seat. Let's take the question, and if I can answer really fast, then depending on the question.
Thank you so much, Ramchandra Prabhu, for sharing your wonderful thoughts. So, these 4 principles, Prabhupada did mention them, but I was wondering what is their sequence. So, what is your source of sequence of them? Because is it Bhakti Vikas Maharaj, or can you tell about it? Because I have heard something different, like utilities principle is the last, which is Varnashrama, no? Like that. So, you can tell your source and what is the...
This was the sequence in which he went and I just followed him. He said, first you get the knowledge, right?
Okay, Bhakti Vikas Maharaj ki jai. Thank
you. You get the knowledge, and then when you get the knowledge, what is the next important thing? How to utilize it, right? You have a gun, but you have to know how to use the gun. So who will explain that? Guru Sadhu. Utility, they will show you. Are ye knife hai? You don't give the knife to the child, right? So they will explain the utility. Right? And then if you utilize the knife properly, then you can make a wonderful salad, right? If you misutilize it, you will cut your finger. You utilize it properly, you will get the salad. So if you utilize the knowledge properly, purification will happen. And perfection of purification is what? When you want to give it to others. What is that? Preaching. That is real preaching. Preaching, as we just now understood briefly, is when you want to share, when you want genuine concern for somebody, be it an individual, group, whatever. That is real preaching. Otherwise, you can be a good speaker, you can give good talks, that is wonderful, you can be a good, that's fine. How much concern in your heart genuinely do you have for whom you are trying to help and preach? That is real preaching. Prabhupada's existence was only for others. I've told this many times. One Prabhupada disciple, Malti Mataji, personally told me. She spent 1 hour in my house. These are all blessings which I feel are real blessings. And she told me how we became devotees, not by philosophy. Books tha bhi nahi, 65, 60, there were no books, nothing, only Kirtan and holy name. She said, we became actually devotees by the love and the concern of Srila Prabhupada for me. That is what made them devotees. See, when we meet this Prabhupada disciple now, I won't share with you all, time nahi hai, 9, 10 ho gaya. Just we had this Kirtan Mela na. So Agnidev Prabhu had come. Again, I was blessed. I don't know how I get blessed, I got blessed. 1 hour he spent with me, with us, me and my wife. And what he was sharing, and when they shared something, now usme se something will click. Something that in that 1 hour what he spoke, I just took it into my heart. And so that is why, of course, Prabhupada is not with us, but his representatives, we have no idea of what they are carrying, how valuable they are. Whenever we get an opportunity, we should catch it, get it. Preaching means that, real concern. You want to share, why? Not because I'm a good speaker. No. My concern is by my sharing, it should help you. That's all. So he went in this flow, I went in that flow. Thank you. Prabhuji, can we take one more? I don't know if time is up. Prabhuji, please, quick. And I'll give a very quick answer also.
Yeah. Hare Krishna, Prabhu. we are, everyone is having Hiranyakashipu with us because we are having the tendency of 6 anarthas we are having always. So, if Hiranyakashipu does the tapasya, reading the books, he's done meditation, all these things he has done. So, our wish or will is higher weightage than this, or meditation, books, readings, or what we are having. So it has to be changed. No, my wish or my will has to change this tapasya, meditation, all these things has to be changed. No, that Parasmani has to change everything. But even though Hiranyakashipu is not changed, he is having the desire, great desire. So why it is happened like this? If we are
See,
having Hiranyakashipu, if we are not getting that also, then you can just
see,
explain.
there's same tapasya Dhruv Maharaj did, na? है कि नहीं? There's no difference between Dhruv Maharaj's tapasya and Hiranyakashipu's tapasya. Dhruv Maharaj also stood on one leg, his hand up in the air, and right? What was the end result? In case of Dhruv Maharaj, what was the end result? And in the case of Hiranyakashipu, what was the end result? They both had the knowledge, how they utilized it. Dhruv Maharaj's intent was something, Hiranyakashipu's intent was, I want to become Supreme Lord, I want to become Bhagavan. So he got that, he got it. Apparently for some time, he became as if the Supreme Lord. But we see what was the end result? Everything finished. And Dhruv Maharaj, imagine the Lord is standing right in front of him, Supreme Lord. He could have asked anything he wanted. He didn't ask for anything. So in this tapasya, what happens? Purification. He got purified. Dhruv Maharaj also did not go selflessly. He went with an intent, right? He wanted a kingdom and all, right? But because he went to the Lord, he had the right understanding, akama sarva kama and all that. He went to the Lord, purification ho gaya. Hiranyakashipu didn't go to the Lord, putrefaction. So that is why, again, Guru Sadhu will give you the right direction, right understanding of how to utilize this Gyan, Shastra. Then you will get the right result, right or wrong? You have to do the right thing in the right way at the right time to get the right result. You can be doing the right thing, but if you are doing it in the wrong way, you are doing it at the wrong time, you won't get the right result. Abhi dekho, meditation is not wrong, but in Kali Yuga, can you do it? That was the Yuga Dharma of Satyuga. Abhi Satyuga ka Yuga Dharma, if you try to do in Kali Yuga, will you get the result? No. Then you have to have an understanding. Kali Yuga ka Yuga Dharma kya hai? Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare. And you will get the same result. ऐसा निष्ठा के साथ अगर आप वो तपस्या करेंगे तो you will get the same result. Does it make sense, Prabhuji? Does it help? And we can talk after the class. Grantraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Nitai Gaur Premanande.
English. Somebody else can play. मुझे करता हूँ. जय श्री श्री दामोदराष्टकम की जय. नमामीश्वरं सच्चिदानन्दरूपं लसत्कुण्डलं गोकुले व्रजमानं. नमामीश्वरं सच्चिदानन्दरूपं लसत्कुण्डलं गोकुले व्रजमानं. नमामीश्वरं सच्चिदानन्दरूपं लसत्कुण्डलं गोकुले व्रजमानं नमामीश्वरम् यशोदाभियोलुकलादवमानं परामृष्टमात्यन्तदोधृत्य गोप्य परामृष्टमात्यन्त रुदन्तं मुहुर्नेत्रं युग्मं रुजन्तं कराम्बोजयुग्मेन शातङ्कनेत्रं रुदन्तं मुहुर्नेत्रं मुहुश्वासकं पात्रे रेकाङ्ककण्ठा मुहुश्वासकं पात्रे स्थितग्रैवं दामोदरं भक्तिबद्धं स्थितग्रैवं दामोदर इति दृक्स्वलीलाभिः आनन्दकुण्डे स्वघोषं निमज्जन्तम् आख्यापयन्तम् इति दृक्स्वलीलाभिः तदीयशिताग्नेषु भक्तर्जितत्वं तदीयशिताग्नेषु पुनः प्रेमतस्तं शतावृत्तिवन्दे पुनः प्रेमतस्तं वरं देवमोक्षं न मोक्षावदीं वा न चान्यं वृणेऽहं वरेशादपीह वरं देवमोक्षं न इदं ते वपुर्नाथा गोपालबालम् इदं ते वपुर्नाथा सदा मे मनस्याविरास्तां किमन्ये सदा मे मनस्य इदं ते मुकाम्बोजम् अत्यन्तनीलै वृतं कुन्तलै स्निग्धरक्तैश्च गोप्य इदं ते मुकाम् मुहुश्चुम्बितं बिम्बारक्तादरं मे मुहुश्चुम्बितं बिम्ब मनस्याविरास्तामलं लक्ष्यलाभे मनस्याविरास्तं नमो देवदामोदरानन्त विष्णो प्रसीद प्रभो दुःखजलाब्धिमग्नं नमो देवदामोदरानन्त विष्णो कृपादृष्टिवृष्ट्याते दीनं बतानो कृपादृष्टिवृष्ट्याते गृहाणे क्षमामग्नं येद्यक्षिदृश्यः गृहाणे क्षमा
कुबेरात्मजो बद्ध मुत्यैव यत्त्व त्वया मोचितो भक्ति बाजो कृतो च कुबेरात्मजो बद्ध मुत्यैव यत्त्व तथा प्रेम भक्तिं स्वकामे प्रयच्छ तथा प्रेम भक्तिं न मोक्षे ग्रहो मेस्ति दामोदरे न मोक्षे नमस्तेस्तु दाम्ने स्फुरदीप्तिदाम्ने त्वदीयदरायत विश्वस्य दाम्ने नमस्तेस्तु दाम्ने नमो राधिकायै त्वदीयप्रियायै नमो नमो राधिकायै त्वदीयप्रियायै नमो राधिकायै नमो नन्तलीलाय देवाय तुभ्यं नमो नन्तलीलाय नमामीश्वरं च चिदानन्दरूपं लसत्कुण्डलं गोकुले व्रजमानं नमामीश्वरं च Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Ram 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Jaya Radha Damodara Radhe Jaya Radha Vrindavan Chandra Radhe Jaya Radha Vrindavan Jaya Jagannatha Baladeva Subhadramayi Jaya Sudarshana Jaya Jagannatha Baladeva Subhadramai Jaya Sudash Jaya Gauranitai 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 Jaya Gauranitai Jaya Gauranitai 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 Jaya Gauranitai Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Nittai Gaura Haribol 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 Nittai Gaura Haribol Nittai Gaura Haribol Jai Shri Shri Damodarashtakam ki Jai Shri Shri Radha Damodar ki Jai Shri Satyavurti Muni ki Jai Hare Krishna. Meaning, to the Supreme Lord whose form is the embodiment of eternal existence, knowledge and bliss, whose shark-shaped earrings are swinging to and fro, who is beautifully shining in the divine realm of Gokula, who, due to the offense of breaking the pot of yogurt that his mother was churning into butter, and then stealing the butter that was kept hanging from his wing, is quickly running from the wooden grinding mortar in fear of Mother Yashoda, but who was being caught from behind by her, who ran after him with greater speed. To that Supreme Lord Sri Damodara I offer my humble obeisances. Seeing the whipping stick in his mother's hand, he is crying and rubbing his eyes again and again with his two lotus hands. His eyes are filled with fear, and the necklace of pearls around his neck, which is marked with 3 lines like a conch shell, is shaking because of his quick breathing due to crying. To this Supreme Lord Sri Damodar, whose belly is bound not with ropes but with his mother's pure love, I offer my humble obeisances. By such childhood pastimes as this, he is drowning the inhabitants of Gokula in pools of ecstasy, and is revealing to those devotees who are absorbed in knowledge of his supreme majesty and opulence that he is only conquered by devotees whose pure love is imbued with intimacy and is free from all conceptions of awe and reverence. With great love, I again offer my obeisances to Lord Damodara hundreds and hundreds of times. O Lord, although I am able to give all kinds of benedictions, I do not pray to you for the boon of impersonal liberation, nor the highest liberation of eternal life in Vaikuntha, nor any other boon which may be obtained by executing the 9 processes of bhakti. O Lord, I simply wish that this form of yours as Balagopal in Vrindavan may ever be manifest in my heart. For what is the use of me of any other boons besides this? O Lord, your lotus face, which is encircled by locks of soft black hair tinged with red, is kissed again and again by Mother Yashoda, and your lips are reddish like the bimba fruit. May this beautiful vision of your lotus face be ever manifest in my heart. Thousands and thousands of other benedictions are of no use to me. O Supreme Godhead, I offer my obeisances unto you. O Damodara, O Ananta, O Vishnu, O Master, O my Lord, please be pleased upon me. By showering your glance of mercy upon me, deliver this poor ignorant fool who is immersed in an ocean of worldly sorrows and become visible to my eyes. O Lord Damodara, just as the 2 sons of Kuvera, Manigriva and Nalakuvara, were delivered from the curse of Narada and made into great devotees by you in your form as a baby tied with rope to a wooden grinding mortar, in the same way, please give to me your own Prema Bhakti. I only long for this and have no desire for any kind of liberation. O Lord Damodara, I first of all offer my obeisances to the brilliantly effulgent rope which binds your belly. I then offer my obeisances to your belly, which is the abode of the entire universe. I humbly bow down to your most beloved Srimati Radharani, and I offer all obeisances to you, the Supreme Lord, who displays unlimited pastimes. Jai Shri Shri Radha Damodarashtakam ki Jai.